Hello, all. So I just saw Ash versus the Evil Dead, and it was groovy. I'm just going to list off a whole bunch of reasons for why, after this review is done, you have to go out and try to find it and watch it yourself, okay? Because you have to see it. It's that good. So Ash versus the Evil Dead is a TV show that's a continuation of the Evil Dead series, which is a famous horror series. And this was the first episode that just hit the other day. And it's going to be a new TV series. It's already been renewed for a second season. They have that much faith in it, and they have every reason to have that much faith in it. So, first of all, it's the best thing to happen to mankind, to humankind, since Army of Darkness. That was the last Evil Dead movie in the horror series that this TV show is based off of. And this feels exactly like that. It is the exact same series. They managed to copy that tone and feel perfectly. And it feels like you're just watching Evil Dead 4. After all these years, we finally got what is, in all intents and purposes, Evil Dead 4. It just feels like what an Evil Dead film is supposed to feel like. And that's the perfect thing about it. This does not feel like a TV show. Often with TV shows, you got all these random subplots that don't go anywhere and all this big filler that doesn't feel like it leads to anything. No, this is just important scene, action set piece, important scene, violence, everything that is needed for the story and only what is needed for the story. You are watching a movie. You are watching a movie that is dragged out into a TV show. That is what you are watching. And that is one of the many reasons why this rocks. This also rocks because this is about as funny, if not more funny, than Army of Darkness was. If you laughed your head off at that, you're going to laugh your head off even harder with this. There are so many little funny moments that are just intelligently brilliant. Like, to give you an example, one of the jokes, throughout the whole opening act, this song is constantly playing in the background. Come on, let's go space trucking. And Ash, our main character, has it playing in his car, in his radio. He goes to the bar. It's on the radio in the bar. He keeps hearing it everywhere he goes. So, of course, he's got it stuck in his head, and he's humming it as he's listening to it. Then something really scary happens to Ash. He sees a demon, and he's scared out of his mind. He's scared crapless, and he's freaked out. He runs into his car. He starts driving home, scared out of his mind. But of course, this song's still stuck in his head. So while he's driving, he's still singing the rock song, but he's scared out of his mind. So he's singing it like he's scared out of his mind. He's like, come on, let's go space trucking, come on. And it's just the funniest, most random thing ever. And there's all these little smart little jokes like that. Like they are build-ups. Like that joke actually had a long build-up that you didn't even notice. You didn't realize that song was going to become a comedy joke when it did. There was all this build-up to it, but you didn't realize it. And a lot of the jokes work that way. There's these little build-ups that you don't realize. They're perfectly ingrained to the plot. And then all of a sudden it becomes a joke. And all of a sudden it takes that moment and puts it on his head. And it's really silly. And of course, you got Ash's great one-liners, which are always funny, and a lot of physical humor, which is really well done. Sam Raimi really knows how to use physical humor. So, all in all, it's one of the funniest things I have seen in a long time. And it's laugh out loud in a few parts. Like, I can't describe any more of the jokes because I'll be spoiling, but it's laugh out loud. Another thing that's great about this show is the camera work. This takes the Evil Dead camera work and replicates it and turns it up to 11. The camera work here is phenomenal. It is some of the best camera work ever. I can't stress this enough. If you are like me and are obsessed with good camera work, you have to see this show because it's just a theme park ride of creative camera angles. And it never does the same thing twice, which is really impressive. TV shows are known for just putting people in the middle of the frame and just letting people talk. No, this is all about angles and creative ways of looking at things, and like everything you could want to see, it tries to do. And the next really thing that's impressive for why you gotta see it is the gore. This is so violent. This is so brutally over the top gory that it goes into Tokyo Gore Police levels. This is one of the most violent things ever made by mankind. If we get a whole season, and a whole second season has been suggested, this will be without question the most goriest horror series ever, counting movies and TV shows, ever. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that this is up there with Dead Alive or Tokyo Gore Police. It is that over the top. And not only is the gore impressive in just how much there is, and there's a lot of it, it's impressive in how it's done. A lot of people complain about CGI, and rightfully so. This has CGI in it, but it's an extremely perfect blend of CGI and practical. Like, they use practical effects for limbs being ripped off and heads being cut off, and then they use CGI to up the gore by 11 and make it cartoony. And the two just completely complement each other. So it seems really cartoony and over the top, but seems really realistic because they got practical effects. Every time there's CGI work, there's practical effects right behind it, backing it up, and they work together. You know, it's not just CGI, let's just CGI it and put all of our money in that and hope it looks good. No, this is CGI working together with practical effects in unison to make one solid, awesome image, working together to get the best out of both worlds. So this actually makes CGI look good again. After all the crap that's been done with CGI, this actually looks good again. And that's really saying something because CGI has been overused a lot. And this actually figures out a way to marry it with practical effects. And this actually has some rather practical effects, rather impressive practical effects, especially for a TV show. Like, this is film quality. Once again, when you're watching this show, you're not watching a TV show. You're watching a movie dragged out to a TV show. And it is awesome. And I know that in almost all my videos, I go into this random feminist rant about this and that and that and this, and I do it a lot. And you're all expecting me to do that a bit here because Bruce Campbell plays Ash, and Ash is the lovable misogynist. He treats women horribly, but the woman character always falls in love with him, and he always ends up saving the day. He's the Indiana Jones, James Bond character, the lovable misogynist. But there's just some way Bruce Campbell plays that character that makes it okay in my book. And I think how Bruce Campbell does it and how he makes this character work and how he makes this character so lovable is because he makes the character a complete and utter idiot. A complete and utter fool, a complete and utter moron. He just makes him a complete and utter gullible dick. So you know that he's not supposed to be a hero. He's not supposed to be a guy you want to be. He's supposed to be a fall on his face, point at him and laugh kind of guy. And that's what he is. He falls on his face, you point at him and laugh. And then the very next scene, very next moment, he kicks butt and takes names. And he's literally the only actor I know that can go from completely making fun of himself and making himself look like a complete fool one moment, and then in the next moment be a complete and utter butt-kicking machine comparable to Blade or freaking the bride from Kill Bill. Like, he can do both almost simultaneously, often in the exact same scene, and it's unbelievable. And let me tell you, this show takes Ash to whole new levels of Ashness. Ash has never been this dumb or this iconic before. If you like Ash being dumb and falling on his face and pointing and laughing at him, this is awesome. If you like Ash being groovy and super iconic and killing Deadites, this is awesome. You get the best of both worlds. You know how the Deadites come back? You know how they come back? You know how the evil armies rise up again? Ash gets really stoned out of his gourd and brings them back because he's just that dumb. No one could be that dumb, but he is that dumb. And then he kicks their butts. Oh! This show, you have to see this show. And if you haven't seen the Evil Dead films before you start watching this show is going to be very hard to follow. It's not going to even make any sense. So, you have to watch the Evil Dead films before you watch this show, and then you have to watch the show, because, my God, this show is groovy. So groovy.